Hello, it's Matt, and welcome to episode 41 of Gross Oversimplifications. Sorry, I was just coughing. Ugh. Man. Anyway, episode 41, and I've just been looking at what I've got to do today. And there's a lot of things I've got to do this week in relation to frets. And why? Well, straight up, most of the things I've got to do are to do with frets. Because most of the things in here have frets. Case closed. Anyway, so people come in super worried about their guitar, because they've noticed a note's gone wrong, or they've gotten some buzz, or like they've got a sharp end on their fret, and something's gone a bit whack. Super worried, and I say, don't fret about it. Could have worked on that a bit. Anyway, so I'm going to spend 3 minutes today talking about frets. Okay, so before I get into what's going on and how to fix it and all that sort of stuff, I'm going to talk about what a fret is. So for the most part, the fret is like a big nail, right? A big, long, weird nail. I'll put up a little thing of the cross section, but you've got the domey bit that you see, and then there's a little sort of down section tab, and it's got these, and that sits in the fretboard, and it's got these little barbs on it. So you've got your fretboard, and when you're installing a fret, wait up, I should have planned this out. You bend the fret wire, right? You bend it more than the radius of the fretboard. So the fretboard will have a curve to it. You bend your fret wire more than that. And then as you stick it in, I'll see if you can see, it's bigger. Doesn't matter. Anyway, trust me. When you push it into the fretboard, it'll flatten out, and those little teeth on the bottom bite into the sidewall of the fret slot, and your fret stays in, right? Awesome. Except it doesn't. So if you've got a factory sort of made guitar, that's what they're doing. So they'll go through the whole thing. They'll over radius the wire. They'll push it in. They'll go, yep, awesome, done. Move on to the next thing. If you've got a more finely made instrument, like handmade thing or something a bit expensive, they'll probably glue the frets in as well, which does help. There's lots of schools of thought. Doesn't matter. I'm digressing. So, what's going on? Why are your frets popping up? It's because of the change of seasons, okay? And we're just coming into winter, so it's a lot drier than it was. So your fretboard, being a tree, as it dries up, the moisture leaves the wood, and it actually shrinks. And it shrinks in all dimensions, right? So it doesn't just get shorter. It shrinks away from the fret wire. And when that happens, the little barbs have nothing to hold into anymore, and it can pop up. So that's what's happening, and that's what I'll do most of the time. So every setup, I'll reseat the frets. Sometimes you've got to go a bit further than that, but a lot of the time, all they need is a bit more encouragement back in. You've got to use a special hammer. You've got to use a special little tool. I'll go through all that, maybe. Maybe I won't. Do you care? Do people care about this? Anyway, so that's what's happening. Don't be too hard on your instrument. It's absolutely normal for a fret to pop up. It's absolutely normal for them to shrink away, to get sharp ends. It's not your fault. It's not the instrument's fault. I don't know. Get over it, I guess. See you next week.